What are you working on?
It's a computer terminal that hooks up to the TV for the display. Steve?
Wow.
Earlier this year, Woz said he was embarrassed watching the teasers for the film. What would you say to change his mind on the film?
A couple things you have to understand is, one, Steve Wozniak is being paid by another movie studio to help support their Steve Jobs film, so he's going to have an opinion that is, connected to that somewhat. Two, the biggest criticism that I've ultimately heard is that he wanted it to be represented his contribution to Apple fairly. And in all fairness, the movie is called Jobs, and it's about Steve Jobs and the legacy of Steve Jobs. And so I think it focuses more about what his contribution to Apple was. We showed the film to a bunch of the people that were on the original Mac team, Rod Holt and Randy Wigington and Chris Espinosa, I think, has seen the film 3 times, and Daniel Kottke saw the film. And, they came to us after watching it and said, if that exact conversation didn't happen, or if it didn't happen exactly that way, we know at some point in time there was something a lot like that took place. And so they felt good about it. And so, at the end of the day, I hope he feels the same.
We can't afford to pay 3 people right now.
We can't afford to pay ourselves unless we deliver.
Well, how much pressure did each of you feel to portray these legends of Silicon Valley?
I felt enormous.
I felt no pressure doing it inaccurately.
We felt inaccurate.
What about enterprise computers?
No Star Trek names. I swear, I will drive this car right off this road. I will run the car right off the road.
Jesus, calm down.
I felt enormous pressure. One, I really admire Steve Jobs personally and the work that he's done, things that he's built. Two, I have a lot of friends that were colleagues of his and or consider themselves friends of his and really love him and care about him. And three, you make a film about someone as iconic as Steve Jobs, and you're creating what may be somewhat of an enduring legacy. You're creating the image of who and how he was.
Don't you get this? This is freedom. This is freedom to create and to do and to build and as artists, as individuals.
Look, you're overreacting.
I felt it to be a huge responsibility to do that to the best of my ability and tell the story honestly and accurately without glorifying him or shaming him.
Similarly, I was terrified to jump into a living, breathing person, somebody who is very much in the public spotlight, somebody that people have very strong opinions on. When you do that, it's, as Ashton always says, it's unlike playing somebody like Abraham Lincoln, where there isn't a visual and audio history for that character. You have to do all the work because people are going to inevitably compare you. So we were slaves to that. We did hundreds of hours worth of research before we ever jumped into the roles.
I'm thinking $400 per machine for 50 units, paid at the time of delivery.
$400 for 100 units, a third up front.
We're not negotiating.
Yes, we are.